Hi, my name is Jason and I'm an English teacher from Toronto, Canada. And today we're learning English with Sleepy Hollow. Movies are a great way to learn English because they're a lot of fun to watch. And of course, if you use subtitles, you can learn a lot by writing down some words you don't know or expressions and so on. And we've done a few other episodes on some other movies that you can learn English from. You can check them out from the link above here. But let's start today with Sleepy Hollow.
3 persons have been murdered there, all within a fortnight. Each one found with the head lopped off.
Lopped off?
This expression is to lop off. Now, to lop off is not a very common expression, but we use this when we talk about taking the top off of something. So someone's head could be lopped off, like in the story here, but also you could lop off the top of a tree, maybe if you're cutting down trees in the forest. Or another example is maybe your bank could lop off your mortgage payment, so maybe take some off the top. So to take something off the top is to lop off.
3 persons have been murdered there, all within a fortnight. Each one found with the head lopped off.
Lopped off?
3 persons murdered. First, Peter Van Garrett and his son, Dirk Van Garrett. Both of them strong, capable men, found together, decapitated.
To decapitate. Now, to decapitate is a little bit similar. To decapitate really means to maybe remove someone's head. And so, of course, this could be the very brutal meaning that's obvious in the film here. But this could be about the head of a company or an organization. So if you want to take down a crime organization like the mafia, you could say that it needs to be decapitated. So if you remove the person at the top, the whole organization may fail.
3 persons murdered. First, Peter Van Garrett and his son, Dirk Van Garrett. Both of them strong, capable men, found together, decapitated.
How much of your superiors explained to you, Constable?
Only that the 3 were slain in open ground, their heads found severed from their bodies.
The next one we have here is to slay. To slay is really another term for to kill. Usually this meant in the old days that you could slay a dragon, for example, to kill with a sword. So nowadays we could also use this to talk about maybe a joke. If we say something like, you slay me, it's like you kill me with your joke. Your joke was so funny, it kills me. But we could use this maybe when someone is killed, but usually it's to kill someone with a sword.
How much of your superiors explained to you, Constable?
Only that the 3 were slain in open ground, their heads found severed from their bodies.
The horseman was a Hessian mercenary, sent to these shores by German princes to keep Americans under the yoke of England. But unlike his compatriots, who came for money, the horseman came for love of carnage.
Carnage. Now, carnage is a good synonym for chaos, destruction, and disorder. So maybe the killer caused a lot of carnage by killing many people. A better example might be today, there was a car accident on the highway that caused a lot of carnage. A lot of other cars were destroyed because of this. So good synonyms of carnage are things like destruction, chaos, and mayhem.
The horseman was a Hessian mercenary, sent to these shores by German princes to keep Americans under the yoke of England. But unlike his compatriots, who came for money, the horseman came for love of carnage. It filed his teeth down to sharp points to add to the ferocity of his appearance.
Ferocity. So ferocity is the noun form of the adjective ferocious. So usually we use ferocious to talk about an animal that is very angry and very dangerous. So in the movie here, they talked about the ferocity of his appearance. He looked very scary, looked very angry. We could talk about maybe a ferocious storm as well. So it doesn't have to be an animal. A storm can be very angry and very destructive. So we can say that it's very ferocious.
It filed his teeth down to sharp points to add to the ferocity of his appearance. Even today, the Western Woods is a haunted place where brave men will not venture.
Haunted. Now, haunted actually means that a place has ghosts living there. So, of course, we cannot see ghosts, but if we go to a place that feels very haunted, maybe the place feels a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe the place has a bad history. We could also say that a person is haunted by memories of the past. So if something bad happened in your past and you still remember it from time to time, you could say you are haunted by these feelings. So they make you uncomfortable and you don't feel very well.
Even today, the Western Woods is a haunted place where brave men will not venture. He's on the rampage, cutting off heads where he finds them.
Rampage. So rampage is when someone goes and causes a lot of destruction very quickly. So obviously a killer can go on a rampage when they go and kill many people. But it could be something simple. You could say that today my boss went on a rampage. He went through the office and yelled at each employee that was performing badly, and he was very angry, and he caused a lot of kind of destruction in this way.
He's on the rampage, cutting off heads where he finds them.
Murder needs no ghost come from the grave. We have murders in New York without benefit of ghouls and goblins.
Next, we have the words ghost, ghoul, and goblin. So these are all fictional kind of spirits, you could imagine. A ghost is a spirit, something you cannot see, that lives maybe in the other world. A ghoul, again, is maybe kind of like a ghost, but it's more like a monster with big teeth that can kill lots of things. A goblin is the idea of a short, small, ugly-looking monster that maybe scares people as well. So these are all kinds of fictional monsters or characters. Ghosts, ghouls, and goblins.
Murder needs no ghost come from the grave. We have murders in New York without benefit of ghouls and goblins.
You seek knowledge of the Netherworld? I can show you.
A netherworld. So a netherworld is usually what we refer to the world where ghosts live. So it's not the physical world, but the idea that there's another world where dead people go to. And a netherworld, usually it's a negative world, so not a happy world, so a bad place. We can use this when we talk about maybe smaller worlds within our world where bad stuff exists. So sometimes we talk about a netherworld of crime or drug dealers. So this would refer to kind of the system in a city where the drug dealers exist. So this kind of negative small world or place.
You seek knowledge of the Netherworld? I can show you.
But perhaps there's a bit of a witch in you, Katrina.
Why do you say that?
Because you've bewitched me.
A witch. A witch is typically a woman with magical powers for evil. Usually she uses her magical powers for evil. We have another expression similar to witch, bewitched. To bewitch someone means to use your magical powers to make them weak, I suppose. So sometimes we could say that the beautiful woman bewitched the man with her beauty. So she used her magical powers to make him weak, for example.
But perhaps there's a bit of a witch in you, Katrina.
Why do you say that?
Because you've bewitched me.
The evil eye. It is someone casting spells against you.
The evil eye.
To cast a spell. To cast a spell really simply means to do a spell, to use your magic on someone or something. So really, if you use your magic in any way to create a spell, then this is to cast a spell.
The evil eye. It is someone casting spells against you.
The evil eye.
I curse the day you came to Sleepy Hollow.
To curse. Now, to curse usually means that you use some magic to put a spell on someone that's negative and it gives them bad luck for as long as the curse lasts. So really to put a spell on someone to give them bad luck for a long time. But we use it in another term as well. We can say to curse, to swear, to use a bad word. So we could say, I cursed very loudly yesterday when I got my hand stuck in the door. So I said a very bad word, for example.
I curse the day you came to Sleepy Hollow.
It is a hard lesson for a hard world, and you had better learn it, young Maspeth. Villainy wears many masks.
Villainy. So villainy is really just the act of being a villain. A villain is simply someone who does evil things. So typically the bad guy in the story. Usually we only use the word villain when we talk about a story. To talk about in a story, there's a good guy and there is a villain. He is the person that does something evil.
It is a hard lesson for a hard world, and you had better learn it, young Maspeth. Villainy wears many masks.
No one in this God-fearing town would take us in because my mother was suspected of witchcraft.
Witchcraft. Witchcraft is about behaving like a witch, which means using magic like witches use magic. So it's always about evil magic. So usually a witch can be accused of witchcraft. So doing witchcraft might be illegal or against some sort of rule. So this could be a problem. So doing maybe evil magic, you could imagine, is witchcraft.
No one in this God-fearing town would take us in because my mother was suspected of witchcraft. At that moment, I offered my soul to Satan if he would raise the Hessian from the grave to avenge me.
And finally, we have to avenge. Now, this is a funny word. It often gets mistaken with the word revenge. So revenge, however, this is when someone does something bad to you. So you do something bad to them. This is revenge. Avenge, however, is when someone does something bad to someone else. But maybe they're your friend, maybe they're someone you support. So you want to help them, you want to protect them by doing something bad to the first person who did something bad to them. So in a story, you might hear something like, the bad man killed my brother, so I will avenge his death. I will do something bad to the bad man who killed him.
At that moment, I offered my soul to Satan if he would raise the Hessian from the grave to avenge me.
So, I hope you enjoyed the movie. Again, it's a great way to learn English, and I hope you learned a lot from some of the notes you maybe took during this film and some of the words that we went through today. But if there are some other movies that you'd really like to see broken down and to look at some different grammar or words for them, please feel free to write them down in the comments below, and we can take a look at some of them in the future. But that's it from me for today, so please remember to click subscribe in the link below, and I will see you next time.